Dan Mahiri here, and I'm here because today is a very sad day. A very sad day because today is the reinvention of the launch of BBI at Bomas of Kenya. Once BBI was defeated, the conspirators regrouped very quickly and came up with a plan B. BBI was essentially meant to create as many positions at the top to accommodate as many tribal lords as possible, so that all they need to do is sit on a table and agree on how to share these positions, then go and mobilize Kenyans into tribal voting robots and transport them into a voting booth where Kenyans participate in a tribal roll call, and then these people can take our sovereignty and misuse it and use it against us for 5 years, then do the same, regroup, and on and on and on and on. Now, when that was defeated, these people regrouped very quickly and came up with a plan B, which is the Azimio la Umoja. Azimio la Umoja is essentially the exact same thing, which is reawaken the tribal consciousness of the Kikuyu by telling them there is an Azimio for the Kikuyu, do the same for the Kamba, do the same for the Luo, do the same for all the other tribes, and then do now the tribal roll call lounge that is happening at Kasarani, which is basically bringing now these separate peoples, the peoples who have been convinced that they are separate people. You bring them to Kasarani and ensure even when they are at Kasarani, you actually put them separately so that they do not forget they are separate people. And once you put them separately, then you launch the journey towards a tribal roll call on the 9th of August 2022. And we must just defeat these people once and for all. We must just call these people out and tell them that this election will be about pure consent, the ultimate paradigm shift to complete emancipation. And that this Azimio la Umoja is a pure case study of Kenyan deceitful political conmanship. These people are just so shameless that they imagine that the same tyranny of numbers they have used before, where they tell us, when you group this tribe and this tribe and this tribe and take them to a tribal roll call against this tribe and this tribe and this tribe, this group, this tyranny of numbers will be higher than this tyranny of numbers. And now they are relaunching it in the name of Azimio la Umoja, in the name of telling you that you separate people, and therefore on the 9th of August you must take part in a tribal roll call. I mean, surely. This is sad, and that is exactly what I say in my book, that we resolve to reject disingenuous, endless lamentation of political conmanship to selfish, greedy ends, and firmly reclaim our inherent right to pure consent, the ultimate paradigm shift to complete emancipation. Then, and only then, shall we go ahead and chart our own way forward with leaders who shall exercise our sovereignty from the lowest level to the highest level, having derived it from our pure consent, having derived it from the consent that comes from our hearts, not us being brainwashed, intimidated, and taken to a tribal roll call. We must refuse to participate in this tribal roll call they are launching at Kasarani today. Let them launch their tribal roll call, but let them participate in that tribal roll call themselves. We shall not take part in that tribal roll call. We must refuse to take part in that tribal roll call. And I'm telling you, my fellow Kenyans, we, the equivalent commoners, must decide that in 2022, the election will be about us listening to everyone that is presenting themselves as a candidate for 2022 and settling on the one who has the clearest vision forward, on the one whose ideas and policies and whose passion for this country and patriotism for this country represents our future, not our past. And therefore, as they launch their tribal roll call that they expect us to participate in 2022, We must ourselves regroup as Kenyans, not as people of separate tribes. The same way we take part in weddings without caring who is marrying who from which tribe. The same way when one of us loses a loved one, we will support them and be there for them regardless of which part of this country they come from. We will even go with them to their village to help them rest their loved ones. The same way when we go to a hospital, we do not ask, where is the doctor for my tribe? The same way when we take our children to schools, we do not ask, where is the teacher for my tribe? The same way we are one. We must prove to them in the 2022 election that we are one, and that this attempt every 5 years to regroup us into tribal robots and take us to a tribal roll call will not succeed. We must ensure that 2022 becomes the ultimate paradigm shift where we express our pure consent that is not impurified by this attempt to group us into tribal voting robots. Let us prove these people wrong, and let us show them that we have awakened to the fact that we own our sovereignty and that we can donate our pure consent to the one person or to a group of leaders from MCA all the way to the president who have the best interest of this country, and that what shall determine who becomes the president of this country in 2022 will not be a group of people sitting somewhere and deciding that this is the tribal demagogue that will represent the other tribal demagogues for the next 5 years. Let us ensure that in 2022, one of the equivalent commoners, the one who has the best interest of the equivalent commoners across the country, is the one who will take the leadership of this country and move this country forward into one united nation that we have always been, that we are throughout, until these people come and try to group us into tribal voting robots. We shall not take part in that tribal roll call you are launching today at Kasarani. You go take part in that tribal roll call yourselves, not us Kenyans. God bless you, God bless Kenya, and let us refuse the invitation to participate in a tribal roll call on the 9th of August 2022.